Hello everyone, welcome to Tutorials by Dacade. My name is Dacade, and today we're going to work on the second half of our UI. Before I begin though, if you've enjoyed the series, make sure you subscribe as I have videos like this coming out all the time. With that out of the way, let's get started on getting the rest of our UI done. So in the last video, we worked on getting our little bars up here. So in this video, we are going to work on having those bars actually do something whenever something happens to the player. So the very first thing that we're going to do is get some things organized here. So under your scripts folder here, we are going to create a new folder, and we're just going to label this one game. And Unity is going to do something there for a second. All right, there we go. We're going to open up the game folder that we just created. We're going to create a scripting object, a mono behavior script, and we are going to name this one UI Manager. And then once that's done, go ahead and open up your UI Manager. I did not have Visual Studio open, and for whatever reason, it opened on my other screen. So give me 1 second for it to load, and I will drag that guy over here. There we go. And while I'm at it, I will pull up my notes on the other screen. There we go. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of the start and update method. As of right now, we do not need those. And we're going to put in some actually really one variable up here. But we're going to be adding more later, so let's just get prepared for that. So let's do header and sliders. And then tooltip, the health slider. I really need to get a new keyboard. Then we will serialize the field. And then from here, we're just going to do private slider. And I know it's going to put that slider joint 2D in there, so just back all that off until it says just slider, and then health slider. So the reason why this is given an error, and the reason why I tried putting all that extra stuff is because we need to tell Unity, or we need to tell Visual Studio that we are using Unity engine.ui. And then once you put that up in your usings, that error will go away. That'll actually, well, for me it turned green, but depending on how you have your Visual Studio set up, it might change a different color. But nonetheless, there you go. That got rid of that error, and now we can start scripting some UI stuff. So the next thing we're going to do is do a public void update max health. We need to pass in an integer for current health and an integer for max health. So we're going to use this anytime that you get like a power up that increases your max health. So all we have to do in here is health slider dot max value equals the max health, and then health slider value equals current health. And that's all we need to do for that one. Then we just need to do one more. It's going to be very simple. Public void update health. Help if I knew how to spell. And then in this one, we're just going to pass in an integer of current health. And then we're going to do something similar, just instead of the max value, we're just going to do the regular value. So health slider dot value equals current health, or whatever that is. Current health, there we go. And for now, that's all we need to do in the UI manager. I'm not going to do the magic right now, but literally the magic is the exact same thing. The only thing you do is where it says update max health, I would just change health to magic. And then anywhere that says health, just change it to magic. But again, we're not doing anything with magic right now, so we don't need to do that. what we do need to do is go over to player. And at the very top, we are going to add a header. And we're just going to call this script references. There we go. And then here we're just going to put tooltip, the UI manager. We're going to serialize the field. And we are going to make this private, not public. There we go. Private UI manager, and we'll just call it UI manager. And that's all we need to do for adding variables to the player. What we do need to do is go to Start. And at the very bottom, we're going to do UI manager dot update max health. And we're going to pass in our current health and our max health. And then one more thing that we need to do is scroll down to where the player takes damage. So find that function, which is right there. And in that function, all we need to do underneath all of this is UI manager dot update health, and then we'll pass in current health. And for right now, that should be all we need to do in order to get our UI manager working. So what we need to do is go back into Unity and just do a couple things in Unity, and we'll be good to go. So we'll let this compile. All right. So now that that's compiled, what we need to do over here in the hierarchy is right-click and create an empty and name this managers. And then move that up to the top, just under main camera there. And then under managers, we're going to create another empty UI manager. I don't know why it made it a parent, so instead we're going to make it a child, or we're just going to take managers out of there and we'll make the UI manager a child of manager. There we go. And with UI manager selected, we are going to drag the UI manager script over to the inspector, and that added the script to the empty game object. I should have done this earlier. I like to kind of make everything 0, 0, 0. I mean, even though it's invisible, the player's not going to see it. Still like to just do that. But anyway, for this script, we need the health slider. So all we need to do is go to Canvas, go to the health bar, and just drop that in there, and it'll automatically drop the slider in there. And then we need to go to the player, and in the player script where we see the UI manager, you'll see it says none. We're just going to take that UI manager and drop that in there. And that's it. That should be everything we need. So let's hit play and test it out. All right, so let's find that slime. Where'd you go, buddy? Where did you go? Oh, there you are. All right, let him do some damage. Come on, boom. And there we go. You can see that our UI is updating with the proper amount of health. Now, what you could do with this, you can do something that a lot of games do, including The Legend of Zelda, is once you get to a certain point of low health, you can have some sort of audible tone. You can have some sort of warning pop up on the screen. You can start flashing the health bar. There's a ton of stuff that we can do. And when we get a little further into this series and we start polishing a few things, that's when we'll start adding some of those effects. For right now, these first few videos, I just want to get some basic stuff down. And then once we have what we feel is a somewhat complete game, then we can go in and start polishing things like that. But until then, I'm going to end this video here. If you like this video and if it was helpful, make sure you give it the big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, I have videos like this coming out all the time. And as always, Thank you. Have a good day. And I'll see you in the next video.